Hello, today I've got the Time Spent with Friends die and stamp set from Tonic to share with you. Now I've already made a little video of this before because it was originally launched in a kit and it was really popular, so they've decided to relaunch separately this time. So I'll put the link to that video in the description below this one, and we'll just go ahead and have a little look. I'm going to show you through the die set first of all. Here it is, and there are 25 different dies in that set and a little set of stamps as well. I think you will enjoy this one because as I said, it was really popular before and that's why it's been relaunched. But we'll have a quick look and then we'll just get started to make something. I was so eager to get on making the book that I actually almost forgot to show you through the dies, so I've had to come back again. So we've opened up the packet and here are all the dies, and there are page dies and layering dies, and first of all we're going to have a little look at this one. This one has no outside cutting edge on this end, so that means when you lay that on your paper, I've already done it on some 300 GSM white card here. You can see that I've put that through my die cutting machine, and it has cut this piece out, but it hasn't cut this edge. So I can go ahead and just nip that off. I'll pull it out this way just to show you for the meantime. But there's a little debossed edge there, and I'm not sure if the camera picks it up or not, but it is right there, and that is a really good guideline for using this little die here. So this is the one that creates all the little holes in to thread this up. Now you could obviously go ahead and use this die set with a spine or whatever, but I'm going at it from the point of view today that you've just bought the die set and it's your first memory book and you want to use what's in there along with some other dies that you have to decorate it. So the memory book itself, I'm not going to use the dies, the spine dies, but have a little look back at my playlist where there's lots of different memory books, and you'll see how to make spines and you'll see all sorts of things on there. But for now, here we go with this one, and I'm going to use this as a little guideline. So I'm actually going to cut this off right down here, level with the cutting edge here, and I'm going to use this to make the little holes. So there are little notches here, and those are for guidelines for different sizes of pages. But you'll also notice that when you look at it this way, there's a hole at the top and it's on the left, and turn it this way, there's a hole on the top and it's on the right. Now you will want to make sure that you've all of those lined up. So as I said in my other video, I like to think of this as up the left. It's just my way of remembering it, and that means that whenever I put this onto my card, my paper or whatever that I'm going to cut it through, I'll know that the top one is facing upwards each time at the left. So I am going to line that up with the inside of the debossing line there. I'm going to cut off straight down here, line that up there and run it through my die cutting machine, and I'm going to do that with all of the pages. Now originally I thought I was going to make this really bright, and then last night when I started to die cut all the pieces I thought, oh, I really would love some black and gold. So I've gone ahead and I've picked out lots and lots of black and gold layers, all different combinations, and I thought this would be really beautiful for the front cover. So you can see here that on this die set, this is not the only one with no cutting edge on the end of it. We've got some layers here that are actually just full pieces, so they will cut out layers that look like this and you don't actually have to trim them off at the edge. But there are a few here, this other one here and this one, sorry, this one here, which is the third one in from where I am now, and then this one, don't have any cutting edges on that end, so you can make those as long as you want as well. And then we've got little sentiments here, and I've gone ahead and cut those out, and one of them says remember and the other one says time spent, and then you can use some of the stamps to add in whatever you want with that. So we've got you could have time spent with friends, or you could have remember that night, or remember the good times. And I used the clocks and cogs die set from a previous kit along with this in the last one. But this time I thought I'd really love to use this little die set. This is the Handbags and Lipsticks die set. So if you haven't got this, you can still go ahead and use whatever different dies that you have yourself, but I thought those would be really beautiful to decorate up the front of this one. So I'll be right back in 2 ticks. that's what the front page then, the front cover actually I'm going to use this for, it looks like when the little holes are cut in it. And then there are little dies here, and they're all connected in one piece, and they will cut out little eyelets, which I'm going to put onto this at the end, and that covers all those up and strengthens them. And then whenever you layer all the pages up together, you can thread ribbon or whatever through to hold them all together. And it's a really, really simple way of making a memory book. I've picked out the next two sizes in layering dies then, so these are the ones with the cutting edge at the end as well here. And I've used the bigger one on some gold glitter card, and then I've used this slightly smaller one on this beautiful card with the black hearts on it. And I'm going to layer that on top. But as you can see, and as most crafters would do, I didn't want to waste that glitter card that wasn't going to be seen in there. So I've taken this smaller die. Now you need to make sure that if you're going to do this, it's called gutting. Yep, a lovely name. You're going to end up with this piece in the middle when you cut this out, and it doesn't show behind the piece of card that you're putting on top. So if you're going to do that, you must remember that only do it if this card is strong enough so that it won't show a line around here, and always make sure that you do leave enough that this is going to have a good grip on, and they're not going to be bits and pieces of white showing out through there. So I've done that, and then that means I've also got this piece that I can use on another page inside there, and I want to layer that up and just go ahead and glue all of that, and then we'll add the extra layers on top of that. But I'm going to make a ribbon closure on this book, so that means that at this stage then I want to add my ribbon in between the layers. So I'm going to glue this one on first, and then put the ribbon in there and put this one on top of that. I've got a length of white ribbon and a length of finer black ribbon, and I'm not actually too sure how long I need that just yet, so I've left it quite long and I'll trim it later. But I've glued them together just a little bit at the top there, and I want to leave them loose the whole way down, so it's just that little bit that's going to go in here. And I've got some glue on the back there, and I'm going to pop that in there. So now, just to give that a little bit of extra security before I glue the other top onto it, I've punched a circle, just an ordinary card, and I'm going to pop that on there, and that will hold that down really, really firmly and tightly. And then I can go ahead and glue this on top, and that will be really secure in there. Now then, I can go ahead and make the back panel in exactly the same way, except just the opposite way around. One important thing to remember whenever you're doing the back and the front covers of your book, if you're using card or paper that has a pattern which faces one way, it has a right way or a wrong way, remember to look at that from the front and the back so that you cut it out the right way, because obviously this pattern then could not be upside down. And as you can see there, I've glued that in, and I'm always a great advocate of pegs because they really hold everything together while that glue's drying, especially on glitter card, because it does take a little while extra for the glue to dry on top of the glitter card there. That's my front and back covers just prepared, and then I've still got to decorate them, and I've gone ahead and cut some more pages for inside. I've gone ahead and decorated the front cover now, so I've got the remember, and you can see there that I have put the little black backing plate on behind it just to give it a little lift from the page. And then I've cut out layering circles just from an older die set that I have in black card and gold glitter, and I've put the little handbag from my little Mother's Day handbag and lipstick set. So that is this one. Now I'm not going to go through all the ins and outs of how to make these little handbags in this video, but I have another video which I'll link below showing how you make all these little handbags up, and they're really, really beautiful, and I'm sure if you haven't seen that you might like to have a look at it as well. It's got gorgeous little bits and pieces like little zips and chains and all sorts of things, and when you use those in the gold to match this in the black, it's really, really lovely. So I have also used this little die, and I've cut that out a few times, and I've glued those little ring holes over the top there, and that will really, really strengthen those so that I can add the ribbon through that whenever I come to the end. And then on the inside of this page, I'll just flip it over, I've used some layering dies again, just in black card here on the back, and then I have taken this die, the slightly bigger one than this, and I have put it on with tape just on these 3 edges, and I've made myself a little tag, and I used this die for that, but I cut it down just inside here, just enough that it would fit inside there, and I've actually put quite wide tape on in there, so I had to make this quite narrow. And then I have taken this little die, and I've cut that out in gold card and flipped it over, just folded it in the centre and threaded some black ribbon through it, and that's my little tag for in there. But just to bring all of this together as well, I didn't want to have just one pocket there. I thought we could do something else with that, so I've taken a little strip of this card that matches on the front cover, and I'm just going to glue it top and bottom, and I want to put it sort of in the centre-ish, round about there, and hold that down, and then that gives me another little pocket or another little place to put a tag in through, so you can have the tag in there, or whenever that's the glue has dried, you'll be able to put a little tag through there as well. On my next piece then, I have layered the plain black classic card onto the back there, and then I've taken some of the paper from the little Christmas magic pad, and I've cut it out with this smaller layering die and just glued that directly on top. And then I wanted to make a little booklet here to put on so that I could open that up and put a little photograph or a little mat or whatever inside there. So what I've done to do that is I've taken this little die here, and it doesn't have any cutting edge. You'll find it in your set. It doesn't have any cutting edge here. This is just a little strengthener between the 2 sides. And I have laid that directly on a piece of card which was long enough to accommodate 2 of these. And when I cut that out, then I just took this off, flipped it over, and I was able to line that up directly with where I had finished cutting the other one, and then cut the 2 out, and that gave me this long panel, which I was then able to score down the centre, and I'm going to glue that on here. Then I've taken the slightly smaller layering die again, and I've cut the beautiful heart paper out, and I'm going to glue that on there, and this little element here is going to go on there. And then you'll see whenever I flip this over, you can still see the inside of this, and it's the wrong side, as I would call it there, so I'm going to cover that as well, but I'm going to go ahead and glue the rest of this up first. Then I just used the same die again, the one with no cutting edge on here, and I cut that out twice, but whenever I had it cut out I trimmed it slightly inside the line so that it would fit in here, and I'm going to glue those on inside that, and that covers all of this up, and it also leaves a lovely layer that you could add your photo mat or whatever onto inside that little folder. On the other side of this page then, I've also covered it with the Craft Perfect Texture Weave Classic card, and then I have taken a little die here. So I've taken this one and I've cut it out in some Cosmic Vista card, and then I've scored it in just in from the edge here a bit and folded that back, and I've taken the same die and I've put it onto some of this paper from the Christmas Magic pad, and I've just cut enough, you can see there, enough to cover this part and also fold back a little bit, and I have folded that over and glued it on. And then before I go ahead and make this into a little pocket, I just love this die. I took this little die here and I made the little tassel as well from the other die in the Handbags and Lipstick die set. These are both from that. I absolutely adore those. And I have just folded it over the top just a tiny bit, and I nipped a little bit off that so that it would be straighter rather than looping back up again there, and put the tassel on, and that's going to be my next little pocket. And I can go ahead and glue that down, but I want to put a couple of 3D foam pads in there just to give it a slight little bit of dimension, but not too much, so 2 little pads in there will be enough for that. And then I can go ahead and glue this just along here, here and here, and that makes me another lovely little pocket. On the next page then, again I've matted it in the classic card, and I've taken this die and made myself a little piece for down the centre, but I've also put little corners on from the handbag dies. Now those are the little corners that you would actually put on the handbags themselves, but it looked really, really nice there, and I love that stitching on it. So on this die I have put some glitter card in behind it, and I have cut it on one side only, and then I have flipped it round and cut the other side. So I didn't cut the full length of it, just partially, and then overlapped it, and you can see there it's given me this beautiful shape here, and I'm going to go ahead and use that for putting my tag through. So all I need to do now is put glue along the top and bottom of that, there and there, and place that in the centre. And no other areas need glued down in that one, because the tag then is going to go in through the middle of it, or your photograph or whatever. So there we are, and then I have taken some of the Cosmic Vista card and I've cut out a circle of that, which I'm going to glue on just there, like so. And I've made myself another little handbag, and I have cut it out in gold, and I've also added some of that gorgeous heart paper into the centre of it, and that's going to go on just like that. And then you'll be able to see how the tag just fits into the centre there again, just right through there, your photograph or whatever. On the other side of that page then, again I've matted in black, and then I've cut out a photo mat with white in this lovely die here with the beautiful stitched edging on it. And before I glued it down then, I placed this into the corners, so just up to the I'll show you it here, just up to where the stitching is, and then I die cut that in the four corners just like that the whole way around. And when I glued it then onto the black, I didn't glue this area here, because that means you can slip your photograph in at the four corners. On the next page then I have put black down again and a layer of gold glitter card, and I have only attached it by the three sides here, and I've left this one open, so I've got a lovely pocket here to put a tag in. And then I made this beautiful handbag, and I've only attached it by these sides here, so just by that corner, and then that gives you room for another tag. On the next page then I have matted in black, and then I've cut a smaller layer again in the same shape but in black card, and exactly the same size of die again in patterned paper. So I've cut the top part of it here because I wanted to cover this when it turns back, and obviously because this edge will have a tag going in and out, I wanted to fold this over just to strengthen that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on, and then I have cut the same die again in the other pattern, and I'm going to just cut that off at the right size there and fold it over. And then I've got this beautiful little bag here, and I'm going to glue that on here. For the inside page at the back then, which is my last one, I have matted black again and then put another mat on top, and this isn't a pocket this time, it is actually just a mat. And then I have made this beautiful little handbag with the embossing detail on it, and again you'll be able to see how to do that in my other video, which I'll link below. And then I've just glued it by these corners down here, this side and the bottom, and you can put a photograph or a tag or whatever in there. I'm going to go now and cut some more tags in more appropriate shapes for these, and then I'll be back to bind the whole thing up. And you can see there, that's the pages I have. I've already cut all of these ones, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers, and that's the back and front cover. And obviously there's no limit to the amount that you could put in there, so you could add 25 if you really wanted. So I have just put all my little rings onto the back, and I think I will attach all this with black ribbon first of all, and then I'll come back with all my little tags and show you through the whole album at the end. There it is, all finished, and we're going to have a little look inside. I hope you really enjoy this, because I really enjoyed making it. And don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed, to do that. I would really love you to do that, and then have a little look back at all the other memory books that I've made, and hopefully you'll be able to find some die sets that you have yourself that you'll be able to incorporate, even if you don't have this one. But that's beautiful, isn't it? So, first page, then we open it up, and you can see I've added a few little pieces, bits and pieces on here as well. So I added this little handbag on here and a little tag on here, and that then was the original tag that I put in there. And then from the handbag and lipstick set, I've added these little glasses in here. And then on here, I think I already had that, but I've got a little tag, and this is actually from the handbag die set as well, and that's just to pull that little tag out. And the tag on this one, the little end on this is just an ordinary piece of card, and on the end of that little piece is actually from the memory book die set itself. And I added this little extra piece on here, I think from the last time I was on video. And this one's just the same. This one, oh, I must have forgotten to put a little tag in there, but there we are. We'll just show you where it goes. That goes in there. And then we have this one, and the tag is in here, tag in here, and that's the back. It's all threaded up, and we've got the lovely ribbon at the side here. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for coming along once again, and don't forget, I will have all my affiliate links to the products that I've used down below in the description, and I really appreciate everybody who uses those as well. I'll link everything, even this die set as well, and thank you once again. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye bye.